All right. Welcome to another episode of It's Debatable NBA Edition. I'm your host, Justin Jones, here with co host Seb. The playoffs are on fire right now. Both Eastern and Western Conference finals are off to very interesting starts. Where do you want to start, Seb? I'm not gonna lie, I have a lot to say. So where do you want to start?
We'll start off with the question of the day. Let me just break it down. So, since we last recorded, we was talking about our conference finals predictions from the East and West. We're gonna start with the East, with the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the New York Knicks, the third seed versus the fourth seed. We both had our predictions of the Knicks winning in what six.
Yeah, I had them
So
from
game
six.
one, we could start with game one. I say the Cavs was really in it in the first half. I know the Knicks got out to a lead to where it was up 11, and then the Cavs turned it around by the end of halftime where they was up one. Then piggybacked on that in the third quarter, had an amazing third quarter to where they were up to damn near 20 points, 22 points heading into that fourth quarter with 7 minutes to go. Then the shit just fell apart, and I seen some shit that I don't think that people's gonna give enough credit for. I think down the line, when you watch your NBA TV or your NBA history or whatever the case may be, you're gonna see what Jalen Brunson did, and I think it was very special. Jalen Brunson went on a personal run in that fourth quarter to where he literally took the game into his own hands. Credits to the Mikal Bridges of the world, credits to the Landry Shaman of the world. But that run did not start without Jalen Brunson really just bullying it. And what Stephen A. Smith said, just really just attacking James Harden and saying he should be arrested for what he did to James Harden. Because the work that he was giving him on that island, it was crazy. And watching it live, well, a whole bunch of New Yorkers, man, in the city. Shout out to all the fans too that was out there for the watch parties, man. This shit was crazy, man, because you really seen them slowly. And it's not the first time I seen the Knicks come back from 20, but to do that 7 minutes within the fourth quarter and have the Cavs really stunned and not know what to do. I always felt like even if the Knicks were down, they had a chance. But to see them personal, just like yo, they really did it. And it's a testament to what the type of player Jalen Brunson is. I said it to me. I said it even to you our last episode to where I feel like he's the best players in the series. And that game literally showed me why I felt that way, bro. Because even if he's down, he's not out. And I want the fans to realize this before I continue. You can't take to players like that for granted, Mil, because not too much players has that clutch gene or that will to win. I've seen guys like LeBron do it. When I seen him drop like 25 straight against the Pistons in the fourth quarter back in when he was in Cleveland in 07. I've seen guys like Kobe Bryant do it. I've seen like superstar players, superstar level players really willed their team to a victory, and then their teammates fall in line. And what I seen was nothing short of spectacular, and they got the win in overtime. The Cavs never recovered from that, and they end up losing and blowing a 22-point lead. Cool. Game one, hell of an excitement, was a thriller. And like you and me said, even last year, when the Knicks blew a lead like that against the Indiana Pacers, you don't kind of recover. That's a game you cannot lose because it'll come back to bite you later on in the series. That game one win when you're up that big and you have a chance to close it out, especially on the road. You're supposed to steal a road game. You don't really necessarily come back from that. So that's a big loss for the Cavs. As much as people want to downplay, though, you're supposed to secure that win because that type of loss to where you blow 22 demoralizes you. It's gonna come back to haunt you, especially if you even give a chance to tie the series back up 2-2 when you had a chance where you could have been up even 3-2 or 3-1. You gotta look at stuff like that. But that was game one. Game two, the Cavs have a chance to come back out, feel a little flat-footed from the flat-footed Knicks, but they got their striding right as soon as the tip-off came. As soon as tip-off came, the New York Knicks really found their stride once again, from compared to game one, where you see that when they didn't play 9 days, that they had to really regroup, really get their footing back on the court, get their shots flowing, all types of shit. Game two, you could tell that everybody was out on a mission. Karl Anthony Towns came out scoring. Um, who else? Mikal Bridges was doing his thing. Josh Hart. For what I gotta say with Josh Hart is somebody that you could tell that he really loves the game, because from his interview in game one saying how I kind of feel like it kind of hurts not being able to be out there in those moments where those big moments in the fourth quarter where you see a team going on a run. But my ego aside, the team comes first. He locked in. He couldn't buy a shot game one. He couldn't be effective on the floor. Game two was a whole different story. And I feel this is a testament to Mike Brown, to the team as well, and just the fact of how collective this unit is, because the way he took over that game and hitting those threes fucked up a lot with the Cavs going on. The Cavs' whole game plan was, we're not going to close out on Josh Hart. We're going to give him these shots so that way we could focus more on honing in on Brunson, not letting him get to his patented mid range, not letting him get him to the post, not letting Karl Anthony Towns work on top of the key and, spread out that 5-out offense, get to the rack, or even, a little dump down inside for a cutting Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby. That was patched. But when you seen how just Josh Hart was able to knock shots down, it changed their whole game plan up to where now we can't do nothing. Our game plan was to hone in on Brunson and Cat and let the others work. And shit, when I tell you, it shows that this Knicks team is that everybody's had their moment. I feel as if everybody's played that next man up mentality, that, it's not just the Jalen Brunson show anymore, like how we seen in the previous years, or it's not just Karl Anthony Towns. We can beat you in different ways. And Jalen Brunson, for somebody who only had like 2 points in that first half and finished the game with 14 assists and 19 points, it goes to show you we don't need a Brunson special. And the thing is with this Knicks team, that I felt it was different from the Mike Brown era to the Tom Thibodeau era. It's a collective unit. Every time I watch it, it's somebody different. Now, Mikal Bridges got his swagger back. Karl Anthony Towns, I wouldn't say had the most productive game, but you felt his impact out there. Guys like Landry Shamet, it doesn't matter who. Somebody different is going to give you a set of scoring, a set of defense. And I don't think the Cavs was ready for that. Everybody felt flat-footed. I feel like their role players did not come out and do their jobs. Like when you have a guy like Sam Muriel in game two, who's been on a heater with the three-pointers from game 7 against the Pistons to game 1 against the New York Knicks, for him to fall flat-footed and go 0 for 8 from the three-point line, he didn't show up. Max Strus didn't show up. Evan Mobley, somebody who had like 14 points in the first half and then even attempt a basket in the second half. You can't win like that. And Donovan Mitchell, I know he's doing the best that he can, but it's only so much you could do when your others are not really there. And when I look at guys like even James Harden, who did have 18 points though, but I just feel as if James Harden's not there. I feel as if that game one demoralized him on the defensive side to where now you're going to ask for more offensively, but you're not going to get the same offensively with James Harden. And I think that's something that I've noticed too as well. You're not gonna get the same James Harden because I feel like he's a tweener now between just being a guard, point guard, and knowing when to score. So, what I look at this in the game two, my biggest takeaway, Cleveland is going to have to adjust and find a different way to win offensively. I think with them is more so of my two guards are gonna kill, but can my others provide? Like it's gonna be a good game if Jared Allen has 20 points, so Evan Mobley's engaged offensively. It's gonna be an even greater game if Max Strus and Sam Muriel are hitting timely threes, because now it makes more or less of a worry for Donovan Mitchell to be that offensive threat. Now Donovan Mitchell could go out freely and do his thing, but no, he has the help of others. Is this series over? I don't think so. I know Cleveland, they play better at home. Necessarily Cleveland didn't get their first 2 playoff wins on the road until last series, which was game 5 and game 7. So this series is far from over. I'm expecting the Cleveland Cavaliers to adjust, but I'm expecting the New York Knicks to be ready for whatever counterpunch that the Cleveland Cavaliers is going to throw at them. I want to see what the other guys do. When I say the others, I want to see how does a Evan Mobley bounce back? Is he going to assert himself in this series? Is a Max Strus somebody who's a 3-and-D presence and has had playoff experience with the Miami Heat? How well is he going to adjust? Because we all know role players play better at home. That is always a given. But the others, can they match what the others is giving for the New York Knicks? The New York Knicks is always somebody different. Game 1, Landry Shamet came alive in the fourth quarter. Deuce McBride, he hasn't had one of his games until that game 4 against Philly, to where he had like 5 threes in the first quarter. Like it's a barrage of people. So the others are going to have to show up if this is even going to be a series. Game 3 is tomorrow. I'm interested to see how they bounce back. And James Harden, he's going to have to be better. When I say better, it's just more engaged defensively in the passing lanes or taking that challenge. He's gonna have to just find ways to score. I don't know if it's getting to the free throw line or anything like that, but he's gonna have to be a threat, a 1A, 1B to Donovan Mitchell. I don't think it could just be number one and number two. He's gonna have to be 1A, 1B special with Donovan Mitchell in order to, tie this series. But for the New York Knicks, man, they're on a heater right now. I believe this is their ninth straight playoff win. They're beating teams by an average of 19 points in this postseason, and the only two losses they lost by one. So they're very confident in what they want to do. They believe in Mike Brown's system now more than ever. You see it in everybody's face. It's the next man up mentality. So the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're gonna have to be ready for that. Kenny Atkinson too is going to have to do something different with this team to even think about, making this a competitive series. Because it worked against Detroit because Detroit offense wasn't there fully. You can't do that with a New York Knicks teams that plays both offense and defense. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think I took up a lot of time on this, so I'm gonna just save whatever comments I have left. I'm gonna let you go. My fault, bro.
Nah, definitely appreciate you giving your synopsis on what you've seen so far. I guess there's just some things I have to address when it comes to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So first, let me start with Kenny Atkinson. If the Cleveland Cavaliers get swept in this series, Kenny Atkinson is going to be fired. And I don't even know how long he's been with this team. I know it hasn't been that long. I just can't pinpoint exactly when he signed his deal. But after what happened in game one, that there were just too many mistakes that you don't make in the playoffs, let alone the Eastern Conference Finals game one, especially when you are a veteran coach. Um, just with that game one, right? It was back and forth up until that um up until halftime. Cleveland comes out in that third quarter, goes on their run, and it's looking like Cleveland has everything under control. Kenny Atkinson, you know that especially in the playoffs, it's a game of runs. And shout out to, I'm watching the game. Shout out to Richard Jefferson, doing a great job just calling the game, right? And he's saying even when the Cavs are up 15-17, he's saying we have to realize the game is not over right now. This game is far from over. And we all know, especially in today's NBA, any team can come back. I remember when we was watching the first round set, right, and we was watching a little bit of the Lakers in Oklahoma City, and then we seen that commercial with Kevin Hart and Shaquille O'Neal, and Shaq said, I remember back in the day being up 10 points was a lot, right, and now it's like that's just not the case anymore, right. So for Kenny Atkinson to see the run that Cleveland is going on, and you do not call a timeout, that's a fireable offense. You have those timeouts for a reason. You have to call a timeout, one, to stop the bleeding, two, to make your substitutions. Right? You and all this stuff you're saying to the media about James Harden is one of your best defenders. Stop it. Just stop. Stop saying that. I get it from the point of you don't want James Harden to lose confidence, and you don't have a Ben Simmons situation, right? You all remember what happened with Ben Simmons? What was that, a game 6 in Atlanta, game 5? And after the fact, Doc Rivers kind of, some people said, threw Ben Simmons under the bus and he never recovered. I understand that, but you got to call a spade and hold your players accountable. James Harden was never a defender. Not in Brooklyn, not in Philadelphia, not in Houston, not in OKC. He was never a defender. He's a score first player. There's no way I'm on the sideline watching James Harden get cooked, and then Kenny Atkinson is just on the sidelines like this. It's like, well, you have to do something as the coach to stop the momentum and the run that the Knicks are on. And then you make the adjustment to bring back in a Max Struess, right? Who you already alluded to can knock down a 3-point shot. Bring back in a Dean Wade who did a fairly good job, especially in that first in that third quarter, right? And particularly in that first half of guarding a Jalen Brunson, right? Having a bigger defender on him to where with that length it could bother a Jalen Brunson. You didn't do that. So Kenny Atkinson, once again, remember I said this: if the Cavs end up getting swept in this series, Kenny Atkinson will be let go from the Cleveland Cavaliers. You
Yeah,
just don't.
it's
You
always a coach that get let go for. But that would be like their third coach in like the past 3 years, right?
Seb, if you did something in the same estimation of what he did in your profession, they're gonna let you go.
Yeah, but they got to the conference finals. They
And
have
no, but Seb, you don't do certain things like that on one of the biggest stages. You have to call a timeout. There's just absolutely no excuse.
yeah, Kenny Atkinson was officially hired as the head coach of Cleveland Cavaliers June 28, 2024. Signed a
Oh,
5-year contract.
well, I just seen Jason Kidd fired for nothing. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But once again, Kenny Atkinson, you better win game three. You better win game three. But I'm gonna get back to you later. Cause now I gotta get to some of these players. Donovan Mitchell. I don't understand how number one, you don't go to, and once again, James Harden ended up being on Jalen Brunson a lot of the time due to that pick and roll and him getting that switch on him. I understand that, but there's times where Donovan Mitchell, you just gotta say no, move out the way, and you guard now their best player who's hot. But that's just one thing. What happened to you offensively down the stretch? You wasn't taking no shots. Are you injured? Are you nervous? Like I'm not. Are you tired? I did not understand that. Even coming down to the last play, once again another timeout was not called. So you bring up the ball and you pass it to James Harden and go to the corner.
James Harden's supposed to be doing that.
And then once again, now going back to Kenny Atkinson, you didn't call a timeout. That's the play you want. The game on the line. I want No, I don't care that he almost made it or not. The only way
It
that
was big.
the only way that's excused is if he made it. He didn't make it. It's bad play. I don't want Sam Merrill, Hail Mary. I don't want him taking that last shot. Donovan Mitchell, that is for you to take. I tried to say before this series started, you have a chance to prove you are the best shooting guard in the league and a top five player. You failed the test. Kobe Bryant is taking that last shot, period. Michael Jordan's taking that last shot, period. Dwayne Wade, right before LeBron all them got there, is taking that last shot. Come on, man. Donovan Mitchell, once again, I'm not sure if you're hurt, fatigue from the last series. I don't want to hear no. This is not the time for excuses. You're 4 wins away from going to your first NBA Finals. Like, are you on drugs? Did you and Kenny Atkinson smoke a pack before the game? Because some of the things I seen in that fourth quarter, unexcusable. Evan Mobley. I don't know if I said this on the last episode. I can't remember. Evan Mobley's a bust. I'm gonna say it again for the people in the back who didn't hear. Evan Mobley is a bust. Now hold on, because there's people gonna say, "What are you talking about? He's a defensive player of the year." I'm not saying a bust like Anthony Bennett. Shout out to Anthony Bennett. I'm saying a bust as in he was drafted number 3 overall, has not really progressed from year one to now year five, and he's limited. I'm gonna ask you a question real quick. So, do you see Evan Mobley right now getting any better?
Mm, if I was to say one thing, I guess his shooting got better, but even that's a hinder. But for the pretty much for the most part, though, I think I see just more experience in the league. I don't think I see nothing like a drastic change in Evan Mobley's game.
From year one to now year five, third overall pick. This is not the type of production I want to see from my third overall pick. It's not, man. I don't care if he knocked down. a couple of threes in that game one. I don't care if he had 14 points in that first half. Evan Mobley, when I'm watching him, does he have any post moves? No, really think about when you're watching, he's struggling to score on Carl Anthony Towns. No disrespect to Carl Anthony Towns. I'm not saying Carl Anthony Towns can't defend, but he's not Ben Wallace down there. He's not the White House. Watch the game. Evan Mobley can't post up. Evan Mobley's either shooting some bullshit or going to the basket looking like he's on drugs. Like it's just what like a post move that you can put to memory. So just an easy basket because going back to that game one to try to stop the bleeding, they couldn't give it to Mobley to give them a quick basket inside. He couldn't do anything.
Mind you, that's what they did for Cat too, down low.
Sometimes if the 3 point shot's not falling, right? You don't want your guards, right? Trying to create to themselves. The defense doing a good job on them. Sometimes you gotta throw it down low, right? Give us an easy basket inside, draw a foul. He can't do it. Evan Mobley, you got to work on your game this summer. You have to work on your game. You, Jalen Duren, um, what's the guy? DeAndre Ayton, y'all all need to go link up together and ask each other what's wrong with us. And figure it out because I don't understand how you could watch the Wemby's of the world, the Jokic's, and I understand those players are kind of a anomaly. I'm not saying those come around every day, but see how they impact the game on whether passing, rebounding, scoring. It's just I'm disgusted with Evan Mobley.
So you think more now than ever that the post game is very vital in the postseason?
Not saying it's vital, but it's necessary to have that when the other things aren't working. A lot of 3 point shot, right? And if your guards aren't able to create anything,
I think
that's
that
that's
was
something that could slow the game down and you could execute in the half court. The game slows down sometimes in the playoffs, especially from the regular season, where once again, we know every possession matters, but sometimes you're gonna have to once again just execute in the half court.
no, I'd agree to that because even last night too, when the Cavs went on their run and then the Knicks couldn't buy nothing because the Knicks went on like what an 18-0 run in that third quarter and the Cavs were slowly making a push. The game slowed down a little. I seen a couple times they gave the ball to Karl Anthony Towns in the post. I don't even see Evan Mobley guard. I seen Max Strus was on Karl Anthony Towns in the post and a quick little drop step in one of them. At first one he got blocked by Jared Allen because he was the help side, weak side help. But the second one to where he got Max Strus in the post and then he scored, it kind of helped get the Knicks back into a flow of things, though. So I kind of do agree. I kind of do see the value in the post, especially in the playoffs. Maybe not in the regular season, people don't use it that much. Or in the playoffs, when the sun goes out, especially when you have a mismatch, you're supposed to try to take advantage of that. And even in game one, too, late in that fourth quarter, where Evan Mobley had like an OG Anunoby on him, he couldn't seal him correctly to even get in position to post up.
Evan
So
Mobley can't score on OG Anunoby in the post. He doesn't have any post moves.
he got a little hook.
Barely.
But now I do get your point about that. I definitely think that would be the next step in Evan Mobley's game to really evolve. I think a patented post work it does go a long way. Y'all boys better start hitting up Akeem Olajuwon, man.
Listen, this is the last person I want to address. We already spoke about now James Harden. We said in game seven of the last series, shout out to T Rex, right? He got away with it, but he ain't get away with it. You feel me? Like you got away with that game seven because Donovan Mitchell had one of those games you advance to the next round after playing on Detroit. But everybody remember what I'm saying to you right now. You can't run away from your problems. They're going to follow you. So just because you escaped that Detroit series where Detroit's offense just is not good enough to keep advancing throughout the playoffs. Now James Harden, the difficulty level has risen. Welcome back to the Conference finals, we know you haven't been here in a while. Have you forgotten what happens? So game one, you're getting torched. James Hart, after James Hart, Jalen Brunson went like 8 for 9 with you as the primary defender on him down the stretch. You got to do something, bro. Flagrant foul him. If he drive past you, kick the leg out. Start a fight. You have to do something that's going to stop the momentum. You obviously can't guard him one on one. We all see it. He's going left. He's going right. Step backs, hitting a 3 point shot. I'm I'm watching it like I haven't seen something like that in a while. To where I'm watching somebody just get cooked. I'm talking about Jalen Brunson is just is just get it get in that matchup that he wants and just completely annihilating you. Are you gonna show some heart?
I don't even think, mind you, it's one thing that you can cook. No, I promise you, I think James Harden was dead ass trying.
No, no, no,
No,
no.
because if we pull up the highlights, there's a lot of them shits where I'm like, yo, he's fake there. But I'm not,
No,
I can't even, no,
no,
bro. Do I have
no.
to pull up the highlights? I don't know
I
if
already
you,
seen it. I don't need to see the highlights again.
bro, really think
What I'm
about it.
saying to you is you got to do a better job. Jalen Brunson, you have well, I'm not sure about the weight, but you got the height on him. Come on, man.
Think about how much people had the height on Brunson, though.
Come on, man.
Think about how much people really guard Brunson, bro. I haven't seen too much people really get.
Jalen Brunson's a great scorer. That's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that this is the Eastern Conference Finals. You gotta strap in. Period. There's no excuse.
Nah,
There's
it's no
just no
excuse. I
there
say
is
there's no
no
excuse,
excuse.
but I give Brunson more credit than I take away from Harden's defense because I'm saying, yo, this nigga is getting cooked. Like, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, yo, if I'm looking at that, Brunson's probably thinking, oh yeah, this is food. Like, no matter
Yes,
if he
I
has a
agree
hand
with
up, hand
everything
down
you're saying. I agree with everything you're saying. This is when you do a flagrant foul.
in the fourth quarter.
You put him on his ass. Yeah, you have to do something set to stop the momentum. You was
I
there
call
watching
yo,
the game.
listen, I
No,
go for if
you was
I'm really
watching the game. Said even watching from home, you felt the momentum swinging.
no, I knew
You
it.
you see that you have to do something to stop the bleeding. The one-on-one defense ain't working. You're getting cooked, hibachi style. Grand After church, going to grandma's house on a Sunday, cooked.
But you see,
You
that's why they started doing what they did in game two, though. Now, if you, I don't know if you're still in game one, but game two, you seen the doubling that was going on, though. They try to get the ball out of his hand early, try to get him in not comfortable
that's
in the
that
fourth. And
that's a different game. Like once again, and I'll go to move to game two. We just didn't really get to talk about game one. Um, those those are just the problems I've seen from Cleveland. It's crazy. It was about a day late from the year span of what happened last year in the playoffs, where it was vice versa. The Knicks had the big lead, and Indiana came back, and he hit that, Kawhi Leonard type shot. They ended up winning in overtime. The Knicks never really recovered from that game. It was the same thing. The Knicks learned from that turmoil. They learned from the mistakes that they made, right? So once again, Cleveland dropped the ball. This is gonna be tough for them to try to make this a series again because Cleveland doesn't have any heart. No one in their starting lineup. It's crazy that I might say Max Strus probably has the most heart out of everybody in that starting lineup.
it's not far fetched.
Donovan Mitchell obviously showed that he's not ready. James Harden is probably thinking about strip clubs. Evan Mobley is a no call no show, and I didn't even say nothing about Jared. I don't expect that much out of Jared Allen. Jared Allen, the lights is probably too bright. Like I don't expect nothing out of Jared Allen. But this Cleveland team, there will be a lot of changes if they get swept. And before, because I want to give New York some credit in a minute. I'm not paying James Harden shit. Because we're not gonna let we're not gonna let that slide. Yeah, you're about to get backdoored again. Yep, the same thing at Philadelphia. I know what I said at that time. Fuck
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
After what
Yeah.
I just watched Game One, you want my money? Fuck no.
Oh shit! Now that was funny.
I'll give you the 1 year minimum. That's it.
Nah,
What
you
what
gotta pay him.
what do you mean I gotta pay him?
You gotta pay him.
Let me ask you a question. Would you rather give that money right now to Harden or LeBron?
No, he's gonna have to take a pay cut.
Would you hold on? That's not what I asked you.
No,
Are
I'll give
you
it to LeBron. Yeah, that's
okay? So no,
LeBron. Of
I'm
course,
not giving Harden no money. Are you crazy?
you got to. You
No,
he got
I
to
don't
be
have
part of.
to do anything.
But all right, think about it like this.
No, you
They
can't.
got
There's
to.
nothing you can say that could prevent. No, I'm
James
not
Harden is
paying
kid.
this
All right, hear
man.
me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me
I didn't
out.
want to do this trade. Period.
Hear me
This
out.
trade was terrible,
No, it wasn't because if Garland's, I don't think they make it to the conference finals with Garland there.
bro. Yes,
Hear me
yes.
out. Hear me out.
The same teams they're playing on their road. Yes, they do.
Nah, they
Yes,
would have
they
bullied
do.
Garland. No, they
Yes,
wouldn't. They
they.
would have bullied
Yes,
him.
they do.
They would have bullied Garland.
Bro. What I'm saying. What did I say when this trade happened? It's
It's not that
this.
much of a difference.
It's the same thing.
But they went to
So
the
they. So
conference.
okay, but at least I got a young asset on my team. Still, he can still get better. Harden can't. He's getting worse.
But for what you got, and you got you wanted a win now situation, and the
They're
fact
not
that
winning.
it's this the series is not over, Justo. It's not over.
I'm
They
not
were just,
saying that
mind you, they
it's
were just down
over.
0-2 to the Detroit
I'm
Pistons. That's
not
why I'm not.
saying that it's over. What I'm saying is that James Harden is not the guy to get you to the promised land.
We can't listen. That's why I'm not. That's why I'm not. You don't see me losing my nanga right now. We're up to because I know someone Cleveland plays better at home. That's what. That's
That's great. And game three is a must win for Cleveland or they're gonna get swept. But what I'm saying to you is it would still be better to have Garland on your roster right now. Do you understand that James Harden, a couple times already in this playoffs, has had more turnovers than field goals, Sebastian? And you want me to
yeah.
pay
We
him
get that.
millions of dollars on a long term deal at 37 years old? Get the fuck out of here! Like I'm
I'm
not.
just saying long
No,
term, maybe
I'm
2 year, but hear me.
2 year what?
2 year, maybe what 50 mil. He can't be
Oh
that big.
no, $50
He can't.
million.
Yo, listen. I've seen niggas get worse contracts,
Two.
but you got to bring him back. Hear me out.
I'm
Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out.
no.
Just follow along with Garland. Did they even sniff the conference finals?
They went to the second round last year.
But not the conference finals.
They went to the next round. Yeah, okay, but Seb, we both know them playing Detroit. If Detroit had any type of co-star, Detroit would have won that series. Like, can we
Yeah,
stop? Seb, come on now,
but it
Seb.
didn't happen.
James
I'm going off
Harden
of,
was not the reason why they won that Cleveland series. I meant that Detroit series.
you could say
Stop.
that, but
Stop.
still, they went further
Okay, so what?
with James Harden than without Darius Garland. Darius Garland's been there for damn near his whole career.
And
That
Darius Garland was battling an injury, bro.
so he's injury prone too.
I'm not saying he's injury point, but at that point he was battling an injury.
No, he was battling
And they
multiple
lost to
injuries,
Indiana, who was a game away from winning it all.
and that's what I'm saying. So
Like,
my
like what
point
are
is,
we talking about?
they went further. So this year, and mind you, is after the trade deadline. Usually teams don't even experience no type of success till the following year when they build chemistry. So you could build on that, still have him reduce his role to being something more of a point guard, but bring in something else. But what I'm saying is, I don't think you just get rid of him or you just don't pay him shit or treat him like he's shit. He's done more. He's done for you since what? He's him and Donovan Mitchell duo has done more than what since the last time Braun and them went to the conference finals. In that gap year, you haven't had much success. So the first success comes where a nigga that we know doesn't really show up in the playoffs, but it's a coincidence that he makes to the conference finals that year. I'm not saying pay the nigga bad bread though, but it would be smart to not just let him
It
walk.
kind of got. I don't want to say lucky. I'm gonna give Cleveland some credit.
You
They went
got
to
to.
they went to two game seven. So
That's not adversity at its finest.
what I'm saying though is that Toronto series, they was missing their point guard, right?
That was
Quickly,
injury as well too.
quickly, right? The next series, we already spoke how many times about Detroit's offense. They didn't. Besides Cade, if you double, that's like the test that the test sheet that was given to them said for that series was easy for you. Just said it for their coach to out coach Bickerstaff. All you have to do is double K Cunningham. That's it. That and it still went seven. Come on, son. Let's not act like I will get your point if they kind of cruise to the conference finals this year. I'd be like, they look completely different from last year. But come on, Seb.
No,
Uh,
I'm not.
Come on.
I'm just giving credit where it's due in the fact that they got there, and this is something.
Yeah. And now they're playing a team like you. Once again, you just said plays on both ends and they're getting cooked.
No, yeah, I'm just saying though. It's not an easy job getting to the conference finals. I'm just saying if you're
It,
gonna
it's
pick
not.
somebody, if you're
I'm
gonna pick
agreeing with
somebody,
everything
you
you're
gotta
saying.
at least involve Harden in your plans. If you plan on bringing in a LeBron, I don't think Bron's gonna come there if there's not a point guard there. You see what I'm saying?
Weekend, bro. I rather, and he's not playing too well either right now. But I would rather have Schroeder.
As my starting point guard.
If I got LeBron and D Mitchell, yeah, because we both know LeBron's gonna play a lot of the point anyway. Like, come on, Seb. Let's not act like LeBron not gonna handle the offense.
I don't know if y'all don't pay Harden that appeal to LeBron coming back to Cleveland. I don't know if it looks
You
sexy.
think LeBron wants to go there to play with James Harden?
James Harden. All right, hear me out. Hear me out. Look at this lineup now. If Bron decides he wants to finish
I
the
don't want
rest
to
of the
hear the
season,
names on a piece of paper.
James Harden,
Don't do that.
James,
No, I know what you're trying to do.
James
James
Harden,
Harden, Donovan
Donovan
Mitchell,
Mitchell,
LeBron,
LeBron
Mobley.
at the three,
It sounds
Mobley
good,
at
but
the
said we're
four,
watching
Allen
it
at
in
the five.
4K. You was just in the city.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking about that. I'm talking about for the Cleveland side of things. If you tell me to speak on the first of all, what I'm saying is this. I'm not looking ahead. I'm not looking, oh, the series is done. I'm taking it game at a time, or else I'm gonna just get overwhelmed. And if we lose a game, like, oh fuck, fuck, fuck.
I get what you're saying from a fan's perspective. I'm not mad. I already get the direction you're going in. And I'm not saying, once again, I never once said the series is over. Even though I'm saying if they don't win game three, the series is over.
No, yeah,
But
because nobody comes back from a 3-0 deficit.
right, but I'm saying it's all about momentum in a series. They had to win that game one.
Yeah, no, I said that game was demoralizing. And you remember I said that last year about the Knicks too. And then I said I didn't know how we was gonna find ways to
So
win.
it takes a team with a certain cachet to bounce back from that. Not with the backbone that Cleveland has. No, no. This is not that kind. The bad boy Pistons. Oh, this will be nothing. Like, cause they have the heart.
So where do we go here? Because I sort of want to wrap this up to get to the next series. I feel like we've been
For
talking about.
sure. But real quick, my last word. Cleveland has to win game three. It's a must win on your home floor. Are they gonna do it? I have no idea. I would really have to see. I can't put no faith towards them. And real quick, I just want to give credit to the Knicks once again. Even though I I already have throughout the playoffs, they're doing their thing. It's showing after each game that it was the right move to get rid of Tom Thibodeau. Mike Brown is definitely doing his thing. Um, Mikael Bridges is now starting to play better. I love the confidence that Carl Anthony Towns is playing with, and Jalen Brunson. I was very tough when speaking on Jalen Brunson and grading him as a player. He continues to earn my respect. Like I said, I haven't seen a person cook somebody like that consecutively, right, and win a playoff game like that in a while. Maybe since a LeBron, even though I could be forgetting some players. Everybody calm down. Um, Jalen Brunson, I have him as my third best point guard in the league as of right now. I can't put him over Shea, and I can't put him over Luka Doncic.
I know
I
you
would,
was over Luka,
I,
man.
I can't do it. Like,
I know you was gonna
but
put it Luka.
no, I can't. So I got Shea and Luca. Well, I got Luca number one because I'm biased. So I got Luca, I got Shea, and then yes, I have Jalen Brunson. Right, he's
Captain Clutch.
playing.
Captain Clutch.
He's playing that great. But once again, you have to get it done.
I hope so, man. I hope so, man. I
Right.
think
So even if he gets to the finals and loses, I'm not giving him a participation trophy. That would mean you're a loser. Right. So he needs to continue to do what he's doing, playing real selfless, right? We even seen in game two him not having it offensively, but he was passing the ball, making sure everybody was in the right spots. Everything looks good right now. Shout out to New York. Like I said, it's good for the city. Um, yeah. Shout out to the Knicks.
I bet. So game three is tomorrow, Saturday. Your predictions? Your prediction for who wins that?
If I had to put money down who wins,
Yeah.
the Knicks because Cleveland disgusted me after that game one. I don't know how they come back from that. I don't.
Yeah, I gotta go Knicks too. I feel as if they understand they just understand what it takes now. And I think that just everything they've been through and the fact that I think they're on a 9 game or 10 game playoff win streak. They
I
just gonna
don't I don't try to give them more wins, Seb. It's nine. Calm down. Now you want to go 10, 11, 12. All right, calm down, nigga.
they just playing with a sort of confidence right now that they're ready for the moment. And I think one thing about them, they like playing on the road too. They like to just hone in and lock in too. So it's gonna be interesting to see. So I got the New York Knicks right now.
Yeah. All
All
right,
right,
so
moving on. You want to
go
take over
ahead.
for this?
No, go
Break.
ahead, go ahead.
All right, so moving on, we got the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the San Antonio Spurs. This series is tied at 1 game apiece. Game one, we seen a masterclass in the double overtime with the San Antonio Spurs walking out with that victory with Wembanyama dropping 40 points, 20 boards, and like 3 blocks. What he was able to do out there was nothing short of special. I seen on the other side for OKC, Alex Caruso had 30 points. um, Shea finished with like 26, and then J Dub finished with 20, but it wasn't enough. And my takeaway from game one was that Victor Wembanyama, it literally came down to him just being pissed. I think Victor Wembanyama is a competitor. I think the fact that he seen that Shea Gilgeous won that MVP when he felt like it should have been him, and he was making his case for MVP. I felt he was on the sideline saying, "All right, they want to call that your MVP? Watch what I do." And he went out there and just straight dominated that game too. You want to talk about Jalen Brunson just dominating just one player? Victor Wembanyama dominated the whole team in that game one. It didn't matter who was in front of him. It didn't matter if it was Chet, Hartenstein, J Dub, Caruso. Everybody was getting work, whether it was outside on the perimeter or in that paint like a real center. Wemby just took over the game, and it was led also by the Stephon Castles and the Dylan Harpers of the world, the two young guards who have a promising future. But Stephon Castle did have trouble with his turnovers, and it's been a thing leading into game two, in which I'm gonna piggyback off of because now in game two the roles just flipped. The roles flipped completely. I feel as if OKC they played more with a sense of urgency, losing the game to where they swept their first two teams and then they lost, so now they're 81 in the playoffs. I couldn't even think to see that OKC would lose 2 games in a row, and they play like a shave. Gil just reminded people why he's the MVP, especially down that stretch. Chet Holmgren played with a sense of urgency too, and even Isaiah Hartenstein. I think that's going to be the key factor for them to just even play dirty. Isaiah Hartenstein grabbing Stephon Castle's dreads. I'm not gonna lie, in the playoffs matchups, and this is deep in the playoffs in the Western Conference, do whatever the fuck it takes to win. And I know people saying, "Oh, the league can't call that. The league got to call that. You can't let him get away with just pushing Wemby like that." There's only one way you could compete with Victor Wembanyama, and is to be physical as possible. You got to be physical as possible. And in that case and scenario, that's what he did. Isaiah Hartenstein understand that, yo, this is a 7'5" freaking demigod. We gotta at least put a body on him, make him as uncomfortable as possible. And that's even what they was doing in the Minnesota Timberwolves series. They try to put a physical body on him. And if you have any hope right now in just taking Victor Wembanyama out of this game, you're gonna have to do little stuff. You're not gonna stop him. That's not the thing, but to slow him down or contain him for certain possessions to where you give yourself a chance to let Shea score. What's up?
You just brought up the Timberwolves, and I don't think we ever spoke about it. I don't want no one to forget Julius Randle had 3 points in that elimination game. You can continue.
Yeah, so yo, we dead never spoke about the Wolves again.
You
we just
almost got away with that, Julius Randle. I'll make sure I was gonna say something today. Disgusting, and you need and not to go off topic. Julius Randle will be traded this offseason. But go ahead, continue.
man, you got to get out of there. What up, Washington? Appreciate you, but yeah. So, like I was saying, the only way you're gonna even think about taking one B out of this game, you have to be physical as fuck. So in that case scenario, that's what they did. Still relatively a close game. You didn't have Dylan Harper with the I guess he injured his hamstring. J Dub went back out, so
And
that's concerning.
you said who again?
Dylan Harper,
Dylan Harper. I seen a report today. It's actually his abductor,
abductor. Okay,
and
okay,
and
okay.
not and not the hamstring. Just wanted to put that out there. Go ahead.
Okay, and then J Dub re-aggravated his hamstring, so I think he might be done for the playoffs too. So you got that too. Darren Fox is still hasn't played yet, so it's kind of interesting to see how this series is going to shift and who we're going to lean on more.
Also, AJ Mitchell went down.
AJ, so yeah, people are flying, dropping like flies. So in this case scenario, Shea Gilgis just had to be special. You see guys like Jared McCain come in and be effective. Philadelphia, once again, you're watching this. You realize Daryl Morey was maybe working with Sam Presti on the low. Maybe he sent him a little extra money for that because you could have used the Jared McCain in Philadelphia series. And he still talks about how it kind of hurts that he was not in Philadelphia. And you see what he's doing now. So it kind of
Imagine if you would have had Maxi, VJ Edgecombe, Jared McCain. That's three players to build your future around. But
then again, yeah. So just food for thought. Daryl Morey, I don't know what you were thinking. I don't think you were thinking, but hey, that's a story for another day. So he got it going on. Chet Holmgren sort of been more aggressive. He knows, like, I don't think players are delusional. Like, they see what goes on in the media as much as they say, I don't pay attention to that. I'm just locked in on winning the team. You see what goes on. You see the little side stuff that Victor Wembanyama do. And for you to go out game one to only have like 8 points and then 30 points, you're going to have to impact your will in this series. You're going to have to take that matchup personally. It is a rivalry now. We're not gonna downplay this. We're not gonna say y'all been going at each other's heads since y'all was fucking 16, 15, 16, whenever time y'all played in the World Cup shit for your respective countries. It's a fucking rivalry. It's gonna be a rivalry when you're gonna have to represent Team USA in the Olympics and Wemby's on the other side of France. Y'all gonna see each other down the line. Your careers are gonna intertwine. I don't know what Chet Holmgren think this is, but he's gonna have to step it up. It can't just be Shea, 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 Shea. And Shea had a stellar fourth quarter to where he closed it out and hit a bunch of tough shots. But you are just as important. You're going to have to be both offensive, defense. You're going to have to show out this series because Victor Wembanyama, defensive player of the year, he's not going to fuck around. So neither can you. You're going to have to take that matchup personal seriously. So now we see ourselves tied going into San Antonio. My key thing is I think Oklahoma City wins off the strength that once they got punched in their mouth game one in double overtime, it kind of gave them the feeling that, yo, we're not immune to losing. It can happen to us. We got to lock the fuck in. And shout out to Alex Caruso, too. I feel like his veteran experience in the playoffs has shown this year. Just winning that second ring, I think, gave him the confidence that he feels like he's established in this league, like he's well respected around
look
his
at
peers.
Caruso and look at James Harden. I just want people to watch things.
Yeah, I think Caruso is just showing his veteran experience in this playoffs thus far. Always poised, always eager to get on the defensive side, get a couple steals, get out transition, hitting his timely threes. He has definitely been the best player I say for the Thunder in 2 games. Shea's been good in game 2, but you don't get nowhere without Caruso. Even in the game 1, Caruso give you those 5 threes, that 30 points. He's showing out right now, and you're gonna need that. So I feel like that goes a long way. I think right now for the San Antonio Spurs, your biggest question is your guard play. Are we going to get a Darren Fox? And even if we do, is he going to be ready to play? Is he going to be healthy enough to play? Because right now, what you see from Stephon Castle is inexperience. And this is not him playing bad because he still, does all the little things. He still finishes at the basket. He still plays defense. His playmaking skills is going to have to take another level. This is a team that if they sense weakness, they're going to go for it. And in this case scenario, they see that the best thing right now is Stephon Castle. His decision making is not there. And the turnovers are going to lead more into offense. You take what you can get in the playoffs. And right now, if you see a guard that can't really, run the offense fully, is getting exposed. We didn't really get to see too much of Stephon Castle running the offense against elite teams because you always had a Dylan Harper and a Darren Fox to back it up to where the ball's not in his hand for most of the possession. So it's going to be interesting to see how Stephon Castle bounced back. They said this is the most turnovers in a 2 game span by a player in the playoffs. So I want to see how he bounced back. Wemby, I'm expecting to be special. The other guys are just gonna have to be special too. Champagny, Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson. Somebody that's a 6 man of the year that I don't know how that happened. I'm still confused. I didn't really like. I think it flew under the radar, in my opinion. But he's gonna have to be special. Everybody's just gonna have to be all hands on deck if you don't have your 2 point guards. So that I'm interested to see. Devin Vassell too is gonna have to take on some, playmaking duties as well. Everybody's just gonna have to be special in order for them to even think about winning game 3. But for tonight, I got just the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think that loss in game 1 gave them a reality check that it can happen like that. Like this team is not fucking around. Wemby's not joking. He really wants to take your head off, and y'all can't let that happen. You can't, as the defending champions, you gotta have to defend yourself. You're gonna have to play with some sense of pride, urgency. You're gonna have to play rugged. You have to get down and dirty. You're gonna have to do all the little stuff it takes to win, especially against a team like that is hungry to make a name for himself. Wemby's hungry to make a name for himself. He's trying to come after all the accolades. He's trying to be the greatest player to play in the NBA. I feel like that's Victor Wembanyama's mentality. You don't go training with fucking monks. You don't go waking up at fucking 4 a.m. to go on 20-mile run. Like you don't do all that if you're not having a mentality that I want to win it all. So it's gonna be interesting to see game 3 tonight. I'm gonna let you take the floor, Justin.
Um, what I've seen throughout the first 2 games in this series is that right now, as constructed, these are the clear cut best 2 teams in the Western Conference. Um, we all seen them sort of on a collision course throughout the regular season. I just love how both of these rosters are constructed. Shout out to Oklahoma City and Sam Presti just for the job that he's done over the last couple years of really building a juggernaut just through the draft, right? And he still has draft picks that he has at his disposal. We already spoke about what Shea does, how he always draws attention to him right on the offensive end. You could talk about the Jared McCain's coming off the bench. Shout out to Wallace for what he does defensively. Um, but Caruso just being a champion, from that Lakers run. I love his poise. I love his defensive tenacity. And the Oklahoma City Thunder are down 2-0 if Caruso isn't showing up how he has. So I want to give him all the credit in the world. Chet, I definitely think after that game, one definitely seen that he's gonna have to step up. I think when it was like a couple seconds left in the game and they put the camera on him, you seen him shaking his head, just saying he knows that he has to be a lot better, and he was better in that game too. Um, that game 1, I feel like was Victor Wembanyama's "I'm here" NBA moment, right? We definitely seen him have great games throughout the regular season and do a lot of things that we just haven't seen from any other player in history, but because he's just that special of a prospect. But him scoring those 40 points, him rebounding, him blocking shots, him, pulling up from 30, right, in that fourth quarter. That was probably the biggest shot of his NBA career. Right, if he doesn't knock down that 3-point shot, they probably end up losing that game because, and that's why I didn't like the overreaction I seen from the media after the Spurs did win that game 1. Because it wasn't like the Thunder got blown out. They lost in double overtime. So the game really could have went either way. It was just that the Spurs just played a little bit better, and Victor Wembanyama that game 1 was the best player on the floor, and we literally showed that at that moment he was just the best player on the planet, right? So now game two, shout out to Mark Dagnall, however you pronounce his last name. Definitely went to the film and they watched and made sure that his players was prepared, and they definitely turned up the defense in game two, forced the Spurs to have about 22 turnovers. So that's exactly how Oklahoma City likes to play. They like to get out in transition, turn you over, and really play that way. We know what they can do in the half court, right? With the Shea, get into the free throw line and dancing on people. But them turning you over and getting out in transition is how they win championships, right? That's how they won last season. Right, that's what we've seen in the previous series against the Lakers and the series before that against Phoenix. So, I'm not surprised it's tied up right now. The Spurs have looked great. The Thunder have looked great. These two know we are each other's best matchup. Like this is just like I know we all wanted to see back in the day LeBron go up against Kobe in the finals. We're kind of seeing just a matchup of that magnitude right now with the Spurs and Oklahoma City. So game three is going to be interesting. I want to see how the Spurs adjust, right? You definitely alluded you definitely alluded to a point that they was real physical with him. I want to see how, especially in San Antonio, how do the refs officiate? Cause they was being physical, but a lot of the things they were doing actually were fouls. Now, I'm not saying to be soft about it or anything like that or call everything, but if they're just gonna hack them all night, I don't know how that's gonna continue to affect just the league moving forward, right? This is a player like when Shaq was here, to where it's gonna be very hard to officiate. So I'm interested to see what the refs do. Um, but just in terms of a prediction, I'm gonna take the Spurs at home to win game three. I picked OKC in six, so I do expect the Spurs to win another game, and I think game three is a good one to pick up. Then I would expect OKC to win game four. They go back to OKC for a game five. The Thunder win that one, and then they close it out actually in San Antonio. But I do think the Spurs bounce back tonight. In terms of all the injuries, I'm not sure what's gonna happen. Looks like it's gonna be a day-to-day thing for a lot of these things, but I just do think the Thunder still has the deeper team. So I got the Spurs winning tonight.
I got Oklahoma City, so he it could go either way though. I think this series has been interesting so far. It's definitely gonna come down to the wire. Definitely gonna be which team executes at the highest rate down that fourth quarter stretch, especially when it comes down to the 3 minute mark, 2 minute mark to even be that. Who's gonna just hit bigger shots? You see game one, Wemby hit that shot to send it into overtime, pulling the Steph Curry. And then you seen in game two, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander just hitting that little mid-range patented three that he just been worked on damn near his whole career. So it's gonna be the battle of the who just hits the biggest shots, who's just more clutch. Because I don't expect a blowout. I think all these games are gonna be relatively close. So really a last possession type of series.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So like I said, like we both just said, game three is tonight on NBC Peacock. Definitely tune in and watch that game three for the Knicks and Cleveland Cavaliers. The series goes back to Cleveland for a game three on ESPN on Saturday. Make sure to tune into that. It's heating up right now. It's going to be interesting to see which teams go on to the NBA Finals. But I want to thank everybody for watching this episode of It's Debatable NBA Edition. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on all social media platforms at It's Debatable double underscore. Follow me at Justin Jones on Facebook for details and developments on the platform. Free Geechee, free Bill, Jersey.